So I'm wiping down Pinball Wizard with some Delson Blue 76, and I figured it'd be a good opportunity to talk about the NJBA March Madness race from 2026 a couple weeks ago. So we were up in Bakersfield at Lake Ming for the NJBA March Madness race. It was me and Jared Phillips driving Little Sister and the Hydro-Phobia crew and Donnie LeBon and all of those people. And so we had our pit set up. It was me in on the if you're looking at the pit from the road on the far left, and then Little Sister in the middle, and Hydro-Phobia off to the right. And it was a good event. It was a good race. We had a lot of good things happen. Had a few minor hiccups and setbacks, but the reality is it was really good. Little Sister had a couple of minor things. Turns out valve lash was a problem. It was just set wrong, so okay, whatever, not a big deal. But its electronics worked pretty good, considering the fact that I literally finished putting it together the day before we brought it up there, and we put the engine in at the racetrack. I'm calling it a win. So wasn't ideal, but it worked, and everything seemed to work okay. This boat, we have been struggling with Pinball Wizard for a long time now, as I'm sure everybody knows. And at this race, we finally had some real success, and it was pretty rewarding. So we've gone through now. This is the third engine combination in this boat, and not because of one particular reason or another, but it's just what it is. So another friend of mine, Jim Eckes, he loaned us this 582. So this motor is a 582 cubic inch Big Block Chevy. It's got profiler heads. It's about 14.5 to 1 compression. Has a pretty good sized roller cam in it, and it makes an honest 1,000 horsepower at about 7,500 RPM, give or take. And so we put this thing in it with the A impeller, the same impeller that the Ford had when it blew up. And this thing ran like 96 miles an hour, but it did it at like 6,000 RPM, which this motor needs to run about 7,500. That's where it makes peak power, 7,500 RPM. So I knew we were kind of on the right track, but I just didn't know for sure. And I didn't have enough time to take it back out to the lake and do another test pass. So I said, screw it, let's just put the impeller that we think in it and take it up the lake. So we get to the lake, or get to Lake Ming, and it's slow. To put it lightly, it's slow. It's lazy, it's slow. It turned like 7,200 or 7,100 RPM, something like that. So it wasn't terribly lazy, and it was running like 98 miles an hour. So it wasn't awful, but it was not where it should be. And I could tell in the driver's seat, the ass dyno was telling me, this thing's not running. It's just not running right. So after our second or third pass between testing, qualifying, and everything, my dad and I were standing in the pits and said, screw it, let's just put this Dominator on. So this Dominator came off of the car. This is off of our 540, and we know this carburetor is dynamite. This carburetor has been fantastic. So we take that carburetor off, we put this one on, and as soon as we fired it up, we could hear the difference. It was night and day difference. With the 4150, it wouldn't idle right. We couldn't get it to start right, couldn't get the idle right. It was a start on the rope. It wasn't right. Something with it's not right. My theory is too much signal, and the carburetor just couldn't handle it. First round of super eliminator, and tree comes down. I hit the switch, comes off the two-step, and this thing comes unglued, and I can feel it. And anybody that's been in a boat or a car that's high-powered, when they're knows when you can feel it when they're running right and they come alive. And this thing just came absolutely unglued. It flashed up and hit 8,200 RPM, which is the top side rev limiter. Held it for a little, I don't know, maybe a quarter second or whatever, and then started loading down. It turned 7,500 RPM and was boogieing. And I get out to about 600 feet, and I'm in super eliminator. I dialed in an 8.0 or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was in that ballpark. I said, well, shit, I'm going to break out because I'm running way faster than 8.0. My opponent was nowhere to be found because she had issues on the starting line. And so then I go at 600 feet, I lift right before the 600 foot, because the timing is done at 600 and 660. They take an average between those two to get your mile an hour and your ET and everything. So I lift at 600, not 660. And I roll out of it and kind of coast through 1,000 foot. It ran an 870 at like, 76 miles an hour, and a 550 to the 660 mark at, I don't remember, it was like 80 some odd miles an hour. And that was rolling out of it. But it was on a mission. So we knew at that point we had something. All right, cool. We got something that'll run now. So we go out for second round super eliminator. This is now Sunday morning, and I dialed in. I don't remember exactly what I dialed. I think I dialed an 8.0 or an 820, something like that. My theory was it doesn't really matter what I dial as long as the boat will run it, because I can play the top end. Been doing that for a lot of years. I can drive the top end pretty well. I'm not by any means the best at it, but I do it pretty well, and I figured that's my fighting chance, because I don't know exactly what it's going to run. I can't print tickets right now. So dial in. I go to leave, and I felt like I left just a smidge early. Turns out I probably wasn't, but I was close, and so I pedaled it, because we're 120 feet away from the rope, or from the lights from the rope. So I pedaled it once, and I ended up going 165 green, which not terrible in a boat, but not where I wanted to be. I want to be about 50, and I thought I red lit. I just didn't see the green light or red light come on, so I thought I red lit, and so I said, screw it, I'm just going to leg it. And this thing hauled ass. It went 110 miles an hour to the 1,000 foot and ran a 792, and with the pedal job. And if you compare the previous pass, where it ran out to 600 feet and ran a 550 to 600 feet, the pass where I pedaled it off the start and legged it, it ran a 564, I think it was. So there's a tenth and a half, basically, of ET that we were missing because of my pedal job, which is also mile an hour and everything else. So from a 792 and a tenth and a half at 660 to 1,000 foot is going to be somewhere in the 2 to 2.25 tenths, maybe 2.5 tenths. So if you say 2.5 tenths between, where it was the previous pass and where it was that pass, we're already down in the 760 range. And 110 miles an hour is flying. So, and this is, I haven't gotten the start right yet. So the thing's coming out and bouncing, and still, I think we got that kind of figured out at this point for next race, but I hadn't had it figured out at that point. So it still came out and bounced twice. Every bounce is a tenth or two. So, I mean, if we can get this thing to come out, not bounce, take a set and haul ass, it's going to be real close to 7.0. It may not make it to quite to 7.0, but it's going to be real close. And running 110 miles an hour, man, that was pretty awesome. We did have a little issue at the big end with the pop-off, but, that put us out for the rest of the weekend. But it wasn't anything wrong with the pop-off. It just, this particular one was unique because it was a prototype, and, stuff happens with prototype parts sometimes. So not a big deal. Going to have it fixed for the next race in April. And we'll make it back out and see if we can run close to or under a 7.0. I mean, if the air is not awful, I think we can do pretty well. One thing we would like to do, which I don't know if we'll get to it or not, but we'd like to do, is we got a tunnel ram, a sheet metal tunnel ram with dual 1050s I'd like to put on here. But even if we can't get to that, we know this works. So if we have to run this, we'll run this. But if we can put the tunnel ram on here, we'll run the tunnel ram. From what the math I was doing, it looks like this carburetor is still too small. Looks like this thing really wants like a 1450 at minimum, which this is a 1250. So we've probably still got some room to grow from a horsepower perspective. But all in all, it was a great weekend. We had a good time. We had a lot of fun with Jared and Donnie and the crew. Well, I should say Jared and Donnie and the crew. And the boat performed. And man, at 110 miles an hour, this thing, you'll see it in the video, it was aired out, it was stable, it wasn't bouncing, it wasn't chine walking, it wasn't doing anything stupid. Bow was a little higher than we'd like it to, so we're going to try and drop the bow down a little bit and do a couple other little small changes. But it didn't overcharge, it wasn't starving for water. The keel worked, everything worked, and nothing in the bottom of this boat was anything extreme to begin with, so we knew it should have been close. And to have it go out there and run that fast, effectively the first time under full power, was really, really awesome. And I can't thank everybody enough. All of our sponsors, from Toolpath Labs to Schaefer's to Anti-Gravity Batteries to Fuel Tech. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. And then JP Marine, can't say enough good about Mike. He's not only a good friend, but a mentor, and has been awesome to work with and help. And he's been teaching me and has taught me pretty much everything I know about jet boats. And not to mention my parents, my family, my wife, everybody. This is a family affair, right? This doesn't take one person. It's not just me. I happen to be the monkey in the driver's seat, but that doesn't mean it's just me. It's a crew, and then not to mention the Hydro-Phobia guys, Jared Vance, Jared Phillips, everybody that's helped out there, because we get help from those guys too. So it was an awesome weekend. The boat did really well. There's a few little things I'd like to change. If we can, we'll do it before the next race. If we can't, we won't. We'll just leave it as is, because what we have here is a solid platform, and it would be worse to take it apart and make things worse than to leave it like it is and keep running and having some fun. It was nice to actually have some fun with the thing. So looking forward to the April race, and we'll be back out at Lake Ming with the NJBA again, and hopefully the thing runs 110, 111, 112 miles an hour. We'll see how it does. So appreciate it, guys. Hey guys, if you liked that video, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, make sure to select the little bell icon. That'll notify you whenever we release a new video. If you like this content, please keep coming back. We'd like to have you. And if you've got ideas for new videos you'd like to see, please send us a message or an email or comment on one of our videos. Thanks.